So, a certain way in which twin flames who have had a difficult childhood, they can block moving forward in the journey in life is how they hold on to the past. And that happens because sometimes the pain has been very, very, mm, brutal. It has been very difficult. And the more you uncover it as you come on the journey, it's natural for you to start discovering that there has been some pain that perhaps you had suppressed, and you discover that pain, or you discover some memories that you had suppressed. And there can also be a general sense of unfairness about the world, that the world has been very unfair to me, and lots of identifications attached to the consciousness of being the one who has been wronged. So, loosely, it can be called a victim consciousness, but it is much more complex than that. It can also be a desire for justice, that I want justice in my life. I want this to be fixed in this particular way. There is nothing wrong with you wanting it or anything, but the problem is that you have to learn when to also drop it. You can feel it, you can, um, experience this thought that comes, and the dark, deep emotion underneath it. Nothing wrong with completely feeling and accepting, acknowledging your emotions. They are not to be suppressed at all. But then the time comes when you have to make a choice of letting that go, because the universe doesn't follow the notion of equality or justice the way the human mind wants the universe to follow. Human justice systems are just a fraction of, they are based on just a fraction of the understanding of the karmic justice systems of the universe. And very often the spiritual seeker goes through suffering, and it becomes a springboard for the seeker to, launch themselves into the awareness of higher dimensions, the awareness of the truth within, because it wakes you up. It's like all the doors of the past, they close down, or they are the paths that you've already walked, and you've already walked a path full of thorns. So now you know not to walk back on that path. So that is why the past was painful. That is why, you don't want to go back. If you've experienced a very difficult relationship with somebody, you come out of it, you know that you will not go back into it. If you come out of it prematurely, you may still have, a tendency to go back. You know how so many times, maybe when you were in the matrix, fully unawakened to your twin flame journey, you'd not met your counterpart. Perhaps some of you had this experience of an on and off relationship, or an on and off friendship, where you kept going in circles. You broke up, but then you got back, you broke up and you got back, right? And of course, there are songs written in the pop culture about such a dynamic as well. Why does this happen? Because fully the lessons have not been truly imbibed. Sometimes you're burnt, but then you think that the next time I go back in, I'll not be burnt. And you keep repeating it until you realize that there is nothing here left for you except pain, and your tolerance for that pain has come down because you just don't see the point anymore. You don't want to struggle anymore with something that cannot be. Very often, karmic relationships are like that. So, that struggle becomes necessary for you to understand that you are not meant to walk that path. So, the past and the pain of the past, actually, even the pain is something that we manifest unconsciously, because we are the creators of our reality. That is the divine freedom that we have, that you can say the divine has trusted us to create realities that we want. But very unfortunately, of course, because of the matrix, taking birth in the matrix, we feel that our outer fulfillment will come through outer situations, or rather, we feel that any form of fulfillment must come to us from outside, such as love. Love must be others loving me. Love must be my parents loving me this way, or a partner loving me that way. Or safety must mean that everyone should, keep me safe. Or we expect the society to be something. We are constantly trying to project an idealized version of society, and then we get very disillusioned when the society is not presenting that idealized version. So for instance, of course, everybody would want the safety, for everyone in life, right? Everybody would want social security, everybody would want jobs, everybody would want a bare minimum universal basic income. Everybody would want, food to be accessible, or healthcare and education to be accessible, and these are the larger policy goals of every nation that is progressing, that is growing economically, to provide stability and these very basic things to everybody. And then we say this is a prosperous economy, but this hardly happens. It is almost utopian. And humans, because born in the matrix, constantly looking outside, we get disillusioned when this is not being met. And at the more interpersonal level, this disillusionment is with personal relationships. We feel it has to be perfect. Parents should be like that, parents should be like, this, schooling should be like that. And we try and perfect the system. We're constantly trying to edify the system. Many of you may have felt that. I think many light workers probably start off like that. I remember I was like that when I was young, and in my teens, and I had a very idealized version of what the world should be, and I wanted to work towards improving the world, helping everyone have equal opportunities and all that stuff. And this is how you start, and it's a good place to start. Your heart is in the right place. But then you realize that it's never about fixing the outside, it's actually about fixing the inside. You also realize how you have been creating realities around you collectively, and how places, even places, have karma. Family lines, of course, have karma. You've heard of ancestral karma. Do you know the karma of a place, the karma of a region? All that, and there are higher forces that are working. So the more you keep struggling and keep trying to change the outer reality, I want to change how everybody else perceives me, I want to change this, I want to change that, it just becomes more and more frustrating, because that's not the way the universe works. The universe is only a response to your inner frequency. So when you go through a spiritual awakening, you realize there is nothing to change on the outside, everything is within. And eventually you come to a point of personal responsibility, where even when I am becoming aware of my suppressed memories, my suppressed emotions, and the sense of injustice that I have felt, I'm also becoming aware somewhere that if I want to move past it, truly move past it, not, mentally uh, stifle it or suppress it even more, but to really truly move into a state of acceptance, forgiveness, into a state of freedom, I have to take responsibility for it. Responsibility is important, where I just know that I was creating this without knowing. I was creating this because I was a part of the matrix, where the matrix made me believe I was helpless. And of course, the karmic structure that that I carried, that the soul also wanted to experience certain things in the physical reality, to eventually be ready to experience the opposite of that. So this is why, some things happened. And is it useful to hold on to the consciousness of being a victim? No. But then why are you holding on to it? Because it has become your identity. Consciously, no. Unconsciously, most likely, yes. Unconsciously, our mind likes to have certain identities, such as poverty consciousness. If you struggle with abundance, because there is an unconscious tendency to be and feel safe in the consciousness of having less, in the consciousness of scarcity. Ideas about love, ideas about abundance, ideas about your health, ideas about who you are, ideas about friendships, ideas about what is possible for you, what is not possible for you. The matrix gives us a scarcity mindset. It makes you believe only less is possible, only this much is possible. So you start to settle. Your journey that you come on as a twin flame obviously questions all of this and brings you into the awareness of how all of these experiences, whilst they may have come from outside and gave you these belief systems, they were still self created and you were the one who accepted it. So you can undo that acceptance and release them, right? So you don't have to sit and wait for justice for the bad things that happen to you. You don't have to sit and think, but who is going to pay the cost of what I went through? Who is responsible? Are the people, the perpetrators, are they going to be brought to justice in the outer world? I want to see this, I want to see that. A spiritual seeker doesn't go in this fashion. I know maybe your matrix mind can sometimes go in this fashion, but a spiritual seeker doesn't, because they trust the higher flow, they take personal responsibility. And of course, as a twin flame, you're a spiritual seeker of a higher order, the one who already is, in some sense, very predisposed towards, going through an awakening, and capable of awakening. So this is what I wanted to speak about, that it's not anymore about an eye for an eye. It's not anymore about punishing people or, bringing in some kind of a forced justice through the outside. This will all take you away from peace. And it's a certain state of love, acceptance, acknowledgement, and a certain state of personal responsibility at the level of the mind, as well as a certain state of readiness to let go. Because only when I let go of all this lower emotion within me can I be a vessel to receive something higher within me. So it does come down to your personal choice. So this is what I wanted to speak about. I hope this helps you and it helps those who struggle with letting go of negative emotions, especially very painful, difficult childhoods. And I have done 2 very deep dive podcasts on this at the tier 2 level of my Patreon page, which you can listen to when you subscribe to Patreon. So today I've also uploaded a video on Patreon about 2 things to let go of to make progress. Very often twin flames, they keep going around in cycles because of these 2 particular things that they find very hard to let go of, that trap you unconsciously. So you can listen to that. If you subscribe to tier 2, you get access to everything I've posted so far on Patreon. And you can also there are mini workshops, lots of spiritual videos, and some readings, etc. on Patreon. So if you want to work one-on-one with me, you can email me to book a session, see the types of sessions that I offer in the first link in the description box, and then email me, and you can also seek guidance from me. We do very deep healing work in these sessions. And yeah, I'm sending you a lot of love. Take care.